Hello and welcome to Select 10. Today, we're going to rank our picks for the top epic fantasy films that every fan of the genre must watch. Also, we won't be recommending any well-known or already popular films in order to give you all something unique and interesting to watch. And do tell us in the comments how many of these fantasy films you have seen from this list. Now let's begin the video. Number 10. Season of the Witch. It is a fantasy action-adventure film directed by Dominic Sena. The plot centers on two knights, Behmen and Felson, who, upon their return from the war, discover that the Black Plague has decimated their home country. On the other side, two village elders declare a strange woman to be a witch who brought the outbreak, and they order the Behmen to take her to a remote convent where the priests will undertake a ceremony in an effort to put an end to the plague. As they travel, Behmen and the troops learn the woman's secret and are cautious about the risks that lie ahead. But when they reach their destination, a shocking revelation puts the knight's promise to protect the girl in danger and sets them against an extraordinarily strong and powerful enemy. Despite the film's average reviews and the likelihood that it is not the best fantasy movie you will ever see, it remains entertaining and compelling enough to merit a watch. Thus, go check this out if you simply want to be entertained and witness some magical creatures. Number 9. Beautiful Creatures. It is a romantic gothic fantasy film directed by Richard LaGravenese. The film is set in a tiny town and follows the tale of a young lad named Ethan Waite, who has his stable life turned upside down by the entrance of Lena Dutchans, the granddaughter of community ruler Macon Ravenwood. Shortly after, Ethan is attracted to Lena, despite the fact that she appears to be accompanied by chaos and possesses magical abilities that are out of her control. The catch is that Lena is under a spell that will be broken by the moment she is 16 and be taken over by either the power of light or darkness. The rest of the adventure is filled with Ethan joining her in her quest for a magic potion that can alter Lena's future. The film has two major positives: gorgeous cinematography, which at moments will make you think of the Twilight movies, as well as a great cast and an interesting story. The two drawbacks are that it has too many unresolved narratives and that there are fewer magical elements than what we would expect from a typical magical and fantasy film. Number 8. Mortal. It is a fantasy action film directed by André Avredal. The story focuses on a young man named Eric who learns he possesses mystical powers and disappears in western Norway's countryside to avoid the locals. However, his true identity is soon revealed when Eric unintentionally kills a person in a bizarre way and is placed in prison. While conducting the inquiry, he encounters Christine, an aspiring psychologist, who is attempting to determine what actually occurred. The rest of the film shows officials trying to transport Eric, but he escapes with Christine to find out exactly who or what he truly is. The plot is based on Norse mythology and does not feature the usual fantastical elements, but for once, that is a good thing that sets this film apart from other fantasy films. The story built good suspense surrounding Eric's origin, and it is a kind of combination of superhero, fantasy, and action that may not please everyone, but if you want to see something different than usual, you might enjoy it. Number 7. Bright. It is a fantasy action film directed by David Ayer. Many people have probably already watched this one because it is one of the most popular Netflix original movies, but if you haven't, here's a short review of what it's about. The story is set in an alternate present, where mythological beasts and humans exist alongside one another, and the main plot centers on LAPD policeman Daryl Ward and his orc associate as they battle corruption in the justice system while defending an elf girl and an enchantment weapon that could end the world. They take drastic measures to defend the girl as well as the world from the evil beings when they find out that the elf girl has been pursued by the nasty and powerful outlaw organization. It is a modern fantasy tale with elements of magic, historical creatures, and struggles between humans and other species. It contains everything an entertaining fantasy film should have, from action to magic, and it is extremely enjoyable. Number 6. 9 Days. It is a fantasy drama film directed by Edson Oda. This will be one of the most innovative fantasy films you've seen in a while. The plot centers on Will, whose purpose it is to speak with aspirant spirits and examine how those he has chosen are surviving on Earth. But when one of the subjects dies suddenly, opening up a space for a new life on this planet, numerous unborn spirits show up at Will's to undergo tests, indicating their eligibility, fearing extinction if they are found to be inappropriate. In the midst of the situation, Will quickly encounters his own psychological test in the form of Emma, an applicant who stands out from the rest, making him struggle to decide whose spirit can be granted life on Earth. The concept of the film is its greatest strength. It is a superb work of storytelling creativity that tells a heartbreaking and wonderful story. The only flaw in this movie is that it occasionally feels slow, but if you become invested in the plot, that is easy to overcome. It is a refreshing, thought-provoking film that you should definitely see. Number 5. 47, Ronin. Who wouldn't want to watch Keanu Reeves in an action fantasy movie? It's always exciting to watch him in action, and this movie won't let you down either. The story revolves around Lord Asano, who fairly governs his territory, while on the other hand, another Lord Kira develops a scheme that results in Asano's murder because he is envious of Asano and thinks the Emperor favors Asano over him. Meanwhile, upon Asano's passing, his warriors, led by Oishi, are left to live as outlaws and turn to Kai, a fighter, for assistance in exacting retribution against Lord Kira. Although most of the general audience enjoyed the film, critics did not. The film's most notable positives are its historical setting and its superb sword combat scenes, while its main negatives are its underdeveloped characters. But, when everything is taken into account, the story and visuals are spectacular. Number 4. ERREMENTARI. It is a period fantasy horror film directed by Pauler Kiho. The plot revolves around a blacksmith who has caught a demon and lives alone, hidden from the watching gaze of the locals. Everything was proceeding smoothly until a helpless young girl encounters the devil and unintentionally sets him free. Following that unexpected incident, blacksmith set out to recapture the devil and ran into an angry crowd that had come looking for the girl who went missing. Who took the girl, and can blacksmith recapture the demon, and why did he capture him in the first place? Keep you interested throughout the story. While the CGI is acceptable, the demons appear to be fairly real, and the film has a simple story that is enhanced by a cool visual style and a great balance of humor and horror. Although the ending might let you down a little, and the story might sound like something for kids, it is not, because grown-ups can also enjoy it. Number 3. A Monster Calls. It is a 2016 dark fantasy drama film directed by J.A. Bayona. The movie is about a boy named Connor who has to deal with a lot since his mother is sick. Meanwhile, his father has relocated far away, and Connor encounters an unexpected friend when the monster arrives one evening at his room window. The monster, said to be ancient, ferocious, and unforgiving, leads Connor on a journey of bravery, trust, and honesty, and helps him deal with his mother's fatal illness and loneliness at school. It is a heartwarming story of a youngster who is deeply wounded, confused, and largely unhappy. The story is extremely fantastic and brilliantly written, and it skillfully handles human issues with compassion and understanding. Its excellence is further enhanced by its perfect acting and creative execution. Number 2. The Fall. It is a fantasy adventure film directed by Tarsum Singh. The story is set in a hospital and follows the story of a wounded man, Roy Walker, who meets Alexandria, a little girl patient with a fractured arm, and he starts telling her a fantastic tale about warriors who are attempting to eliminate the terrible tyrant Odious. As the story progresses, the distinction separating reality and fantasy fades due to his shattered mental condition and her creative imagination. This is the part where the movie truly shines. In between stories, Roy tricks Alexandria into searching the hospital's store for medicines. But as Roy's spectacular story comes to a close, a frightening revelation awaits. You will be in awe of how beautifully this movie was shot. It is breathtaking in every frame and is incredibly sad and gripping. The plot and adventure keep you on the edge of your seat throughout. It is a hidden gem for me, and I believe you fantasy fans will appreciate it as well because it is unlike anything you have seen before. Number 1. Ink. It is a sci-fi fantasy film directed by Jamin Winans. The plot revolves around Ink, a strange entity that captures a man's soul with the intention of utilizing it as a negotiating tool to reach the Incubi, a society of otherworldly forces liable for dreams. The story explores two different forces. One force inspires the mind with confidence and energy through positive dreams, while the other fills it with sadness through dreams. The main plot follows John and his daughter Emma as they are dragged into this magnificent dream world conflict and compelled to fight for John's life and Emma's freedom from an endless dream. Throughout their journey, they encounter a number of fantasy beings whose existence is unknown. This one is truly underrated and a hidden gem. The story is just fantastic and contains aspects of the supernatural, fantasy, a little science fiction, and horror that completely capture your attention right from the start. I didn't find anything negative about this movie. It is magnificent and definitely worth seeing on this list. That's it for today. Thank you for watching this video. And do subscribe our channel to see more videos related to movies and series suggestions.